And good morning, everybody, to TRS Live. I am your host, Matt Trotz, and TRS Live is our online shopping show live here at The Real Shot in Appleton, Wisconsin. If you're not familiar with TRS Live, well, I'll make it real simple for you. My job is to, number one, save you money, but I'm also here to educate you on the wide variety of products that The Real Shot carries. So what you need to do is open up therealshot.com. Remember, that's where all these products will be available, and only these deals that we're talking about here on TRS Live will be only available at therealshot.com, and it's REELSHOT.com, so check that out, therealshot.com. So on the left-hand side of therealshot.com, as you're perusing our website, you'll see that there is a categories tab. If you scroll down on that, you'll see TRS Live Shopping. Click that, that'll bring you right to the TRS Live main page or landing page. On there, you're going to see a calendar. So we go live here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we usually highlight 4 to 5 different products here within the hour of TRS Live. And we highlight a wide variety, like I said, of products that The Real Shot carries, from fishing to archery to ice fishing to firearms and all that kind of good stuff. A lot of different hunting products as well here on TRS Live. So check that on out. You'll see our calendar of some of the past shows that we've done, and then you're going to see some of the future shows that are coming up. And as you scroll further up on that page, you're going to see the products that we've talked about here. You know, like the Solar Flex hoodie that I'm wearing right now from Sims with the TRS or the Real Shot logo on it. You can see it on your screen right now. We've highlighted a bunch of cool products. Now, here's the kicker on some of these products. They may be out of inventory, or they may be, the sale price may be gone on there. So it's one of these things is when you're watching TRS Live, I highly want you to set a reminder. Go to the notifications tab, upgrade your notifications on the realshot.com or the Real Shot Facebook, Instagram page, or TRS Live Facebook, Instagram, or if you're on the Fixed TV platform, get yourself accustomed to those notifications every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. so you can click on, find out what we're talking about this week, and allow me to save you a bunch of money. Now, I mentioned Fixed TV. What is that, you may ask? Well, Fixed TV is a video-on-demand platform where good shows like the one I host, also The Guided Life is on there, Head-to-Head Fishing, the Jake Jacobs Show. So if you are a Fixed TV subscriber, that monthly is $5.99 per month. Well, what we do is to help save you some money, again, because that's our idea here at TRS Live, is we issue you a $5 credit every month that you are a subscriber to the Fixed TV platform. And the other cool thing about saving you money is if you refer a friend and they sign up for Fixed TV, you will also gain a month free of viewing. So basically, let's just sum it up real quickly. If you refer enough friends and you get that $5 credit every month, your yearly subscription basically could be 99 cents. So it's kind of, to me, it's a no-brainer, especially because on TRS Live, we are here to save you a bunch of money as well. So if you haven't yet, please do like, share, follow, subscribe to all the Real Shot pages. That helps us out a ton, and it allows us to bring you some cool and awesome products every single week here on TRS Live. So I'm here today on Monday to get you off, boom, on the right foot here with some awesome products today. And the first one coming up here is by far one of our most popular sellers here at The Real Shot and at therealshot.com. Talking about here the Akara. It's the Nordman Classic boot. Now, before we get into some of the fun stuff about it, you'll see that graphic pop up on the left-hand side of your screen. That graphic has the order code. So if you type in that order code, which is ANCPB, if you put that in the realshot.com, that'll take you right to this product that's on their website. Otherwise, if you are on that TRS Live Shopping category tab, that'll also bring up this product. Now you can see the price. Normal retail price for this boot is an awesome price at $130. Well, right now, only on TRS Live and only on the realshot.com can you take advantage of this boot for $100. And after I get done talking about this boot, you're going to realize that $100 is an absolute steal, because I would pay, and I have paid, $130 for this boot, and I have talked to a lot of different people that have paid that $130 for this boot, and by far they believe that this is the one of the best boots for wintertime wearing that you can ever find. So let's get into it. So Akara is a brand It's a Russian brand, and they make a lot of fantastic fishing products. So we got into them with some of their ice plastics, some of their ice jigs, and we just absolutely love their products, and they make a good line of ice fishing stuff. Well, as we went deeper into the Akara brand, we realized that they carry a winter boot, and we got into these winter boots. And once we got into them, by far, it is our #1 selling boot here at The Real Shot. Like I said, myself personally, I own 2 or 3 pairs of these, and I use them for different purposes, but I've also recommended it to a bunch of friends and family, and they absolutely love the Akara boot as well. And let's get right into why people love it. First and foremost, when anybody picks up this boot, they're like, this is incredibly light. There's no way this boot can be warm. Well, this boot only weighs 2.9 pounds. It's made of an EVA foam material here that allows it to be extremely lightweight. And it's super, super durable, even with that EVA foam material that this boot is made out of. On the top here, you see they have a built-in gaiter with a cinch right here to allow it to tighten around that calf area so not a lot of snow gets in there. It also helps trap in the heat, what you really, really want when you're wearing this boot. The other thing too is this boot is extremely, extremely comfortable. It's so lightweight, majority of the people forget that they actually have it on, but it's also a good boot for, now like we talked about ice fishing, but I absolutely love it for hunting purposes as well because it is so lightweight. And if you have any kind of walk into your stand or on the ice or whatever situation you may be wearing this boot, it really doesn't feel like you're wearing anything at all. A lot of times with some of those other companies that say they have their warmer style boot, they also weigh a ton and it feels like you're walking in mud that whole time. This Akara Nordman Classic Pro boot here is absolutely lightweight, and it's one that I want you to check out a little more in depth. So let's get into some more of the specifics on it. It's 15 inches tall. So it's just below the knee style boot, which allows you to walk in some of that mud, some of those like cricks or things like that, or if you are walking in some deeper snow or some slush if you're on the ice, you are going to be protected all the way up to here, and then even up to the gaiter portion of it, as long as you have it cinched. Now, for my purposes, I will actually take the pants and I will pull them over the boot. I like it that way. With this here, it's not so super bulky, even though they do actually have, if you look at the size of this thing, it's actually pretty wide across here for most calves, or if you like to tuck your pant material inside the boot, you can see you still have plenty of room for this in this boot, but this is by far the best boot that I can definitely recommend. If we talk about the tread on here, and Aaron, maybe I'll go to this camera here, you can kind of see that tread. You can see it's deeply insoled here on that tread, so you can get some awesome traction on this thing. Don't have to worry about slipping on most surfaces, and it is, if you do want the option of wearing your favorite cleat with it, it does a nice job of holding that cleat in place. And even on the heel here, I'll turn it this way, there we go. Now you can see it. You can see on the heel, not only does that help you step out of the boot, but I like this because if my cleats that I wear on it, they actually sit right on top of this, and it helps hold the cleat in place very, very nice. So let's continue to talk about some more of the technology and the idea behind the Akara Nordman Classic Pro boot. Now, the thing about it is because it comes with Russia, some of the standards are still in Russia. So on the bottom of the boot, and Aaron, if I get this close to this camera, can you see it? There's a 43 right here. I think if you can see that. So that is the sizing. So it's a little confusing when you're purchasing the sizing of this boot, but it's pretty simple once you figure it out. And let's go over that sizing right here. So the boxes that you purchase them, they'll have the sizing on them, but they are in full sizes only. So there's no half sizes available. So let's break it down like this. So a 42 in the Akara Nordman Classic boot is a size 7. So these run from all the way from size 7 in men's to size 12 in men's. So then a 43 is an 8, 44 is a 9, 45 is a 10, 46 is 11, and 47 is a 12. So for me, I have, depending on what shoe brand it is, what boot brand it is, between 11.5 and a 12. For me, I just went to the straight 12s on here. That also leaves just a little bit of air room around my foot, so it helps keep my foot warm, but it's not too big where I slip and slide. And I'll be honest with you, when I wear these boots, I don't wear a lot of sock material. I'm not wearing big time wool socks. To me, the layering system, just like a lot of the clothing that we talk about here on TRS Live, is super critical. So I'll wear a wicking sock, and if I do have to wear a wool style sock or something like that, it's a lightweight sock, because these boots with this in this liner in the inside do a phenomenal job of keeping your foot warm. And I want to get into this liner here in a second, but if we talk about some of the else here, the heel, it is a very nice heel portion of this boot, so it stays on your foot. Even if you get into some of that muck, that bogged style material, the boot doesn't want to pull off as easy as some other brands on there, especially if you have the gaiter cinched around your knee, or you're just below your knee portion around that calf, depending on how tall you are. But if this thing locks in, it's very, very comfortable. Now, here's one thing. If you are going for a long walk, there's not a ton of support on the sole portion of it, on the inside of it. So if you have, flat feet like I do or something like that, you can still have the room inside here to put a orthotic or a cushion or something like that if you absolutely need it. But for me, I can spend all day on the ice and just be fine. But it's one of those things, if you do have kind of tougher feet like I do, it's one of those, you still have plenty of room for an orthotic in there, or kind of a reinforced toe issue, not an issue, but a reinforced toe here to help eliminate. And the thing about it, because it's this EVA foam material, there's very little seams on this boot. With some of the other boots in the past that I've purchased like this is your weak spot right here. From that bending, that motion, this spot right here notoriously is a cracking spot. It gets weak, and for me, with some other brands of boots that say they are this style of boot, this was always a weak spot. Well, what they did with this material also is they made it like a ripstop material. So it helps eliminate the effect that it's going to get the cut abrasions, the ripping, the wear and tear that you're going to get on this boot is absolutely phenomenal. It's going to last you a lifetime. So I think my pair, the one pair that I use a lot of this boot, I've had it now, I want to say this is the 5th or 6th season that I'll be rocking it this year. And besides some scuffs onto the outside of this EVA foam, it looks like it did the day I purchased them here at the Real Shot, and I still love it. Now, let's get into this liner material, and I actually have a graphic that I pulled right off the Akara website. Aaron, if you wouldn't mind bringing up that graphic, there you go. So you can see here. So it's a multi-layered insert here that goes inside the boot. And it's made up with a bunch of different material, but close to the skin, close to the calf, is a soft fur, right? And you can see all the specifications on there. Then they kind of go with a bunch of different material. The cool thing too is there's actually a foil-based fabric in here, and then you got that polythene net that helps entrap that foil-based fabric that builds up this insert. So this thing is extremely warm, and this is what gives you the actual fit to the boot. So to me, if this is a size 12 boot, right, to me, this actual outsert portion of it is a little bigger than that. So in the summertime, you could wear this boot. In the spring, if you put, like we talked about, like an orthotic or something on the bottom of it to help it hold a little bit better to your foot. I do wear mine for that purpose, but if you're looking for kind of a spring summer style boot, Akara does make some options like this. But this insert here, this liner, is what really gives you the fit that you want. That's the key to it all. And this liner is super warm, and so warm, in fact, that this liner can go down to 58 degrees, negative Fahrenheit. So that's a big time difference, and it's extremely, extremely comfortable to wear. With all that fabric that we talked about that makes up this liner, this is the portion that I absolutely love, and it keeps my foot warm. And the other thing too is that with the wicking material that's in this liner, it keeps my foot dry to the point where what I do is after the end of the day, like this portion on the outside could be a little wet from all the sweat dripping out, but my foot is extremely, extremely dry on the inside. Kind of a reinforced heel area that, like we talked about, locks into the boot itself. And now the cool thing about it, and that's another product that we're going to talk about here on today's show of TRS Live, is the ability to dry this out. So there's a couple of different applications, but for me, the one thing that I absolutely love about this Classic Pro boot here from Nordman is that the liner is removable. Because it's really, really simple. In between hunts sometimes, whether if it's a gun hunt or an archery rut hunt, something like that, if you do go back to the cabin or the truck or wherever it may be, I pull my liners out because this is a part I want to dry extremely fast. Obviously, this is where all the warmth is. And I will either, if I don't have a boot dryer along with me, if I'm sitting in my truck on a cold day, I will put these up on the dash, turn the defroster on, and I will dry out this liner. And it doesn't take long at all to dry this liner out. The other nice thing about that is it's also warming the liner up again, so when I go back out to sit the remainder of the day, I don't have to worry about, you know, my foot being cold at all. The nice thing too is on a cold stand or on the ice, there's enough material that separates with this, you know, this thickened here. I think it's, what did I say, it's a 1.5 millimeters thicker than most other materials on the market. So that also helps eliminate the cold getting to the foot itself. And there's enough of a layer in between here in the sole and then where the liner actually sits and where your foot actually sits in the boot, that there's enough of a difference in there that the cold is not such a big deal. Now, if you're one of those people that your feet are the first thing that gets cold, and once they get cold, it's hard for you to stay out there, there's certain things that you can do to help also eliminate that. I know some people will put carpet on their tree stand platforms if they're sitting in like a hang-on, or even on the ice, they'll put something down so their feet are not directly on the cold. Those are all just good tips to do. You could also get like a heated sock per se. Some of the other brands of apparel that we carry here at the Real Shot have the battery operated. They help keep your foot warm. Hand warmers, toe warmers, foot warmers are all something that you can always add to this. But again, it's something that this liner here does a good enough job on itself, especially if you are doing a little bit of walking here and there throughout the day. If your foot does get cold, I always kind of I'll wiggle my feet a lot as well, or if I absolutely have to, I can climb down from my tree stand, just do a little bit of stretching, a little bit of walking around the base to warm my feet back up, get the blood flowing again, and then I'm right back up to sit the remainder of the day. But this boot is absolutely phenomenal. The big thing about it, everybody, is it's extremely, extremely lightweight. 2.9 pounds. It literally feels like you're walking on a feather, and it doesn't add the fatigue. The one thing that people forget about is, you know, the clothing that we wear could fatigue us if it's tight in some areas, if it's not extremely lightweight. So if you're walking a bunch, if you're a hole hopping style ice angler, this boot paired with some of the best clothes that you can find out there, like some of the Striker brand clothes, some of the Eskimo brand clothes, those ice suit brands, even your high-end hunting brand of clothing. This stuff is going to add to that extreme lightweight and make you extremely, extremely efficient on the ice. Actually, I'm seeing there, I got a bunch of comments here now. Okay, yep, I can answer that one about the cleats. To me, I'm drawing a blank now on the cleat that I wear with it, but we can talk about that. iHunter. Yeah, so Dylan Williams, good morning first and foremost, guys. Dylan Williams is saying it's recognizable to some other brands. There are, and we've compared them to some of those other brands on the market, and there are some features that people like about them. Maybe they have a little harder sole to the bottom of them, but for 99% of the people, and like Dylan said, it's half the price as some of those other brands out there. This is a boot that you won't be mad that you purchased, especially at $100. I mean, if I could have bought my pair at $100, I would have like 100 of them, just because that's a great deal. But yeah, so it's the Classic Pro boot. Again, the thing that's confusing sometimes is the sizing, just because of the way they're set up and where they come from. But again, 42 is a 7, all the way out to a 47 is a 12. So what's the other question here? I wear 12 and a half, 13, never get the cleats to fit. Yeah, but, so iHunter, You're going to want to be patient because we're talking about another boot here from Akara coming up in the next segment that may be the perfect boot for you. So just be patient. But again, it's a fur to foil fabric here in the insert in the part that keeps you warm. Reinforced heel. This is absolutely phenomenal. The biggest thing too is the rating, right? It rated down to 58 degrees negative Fahrenheit. So negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit. And they do a phenomenal job. Again, like, I could sit here and tell you all the great things about it, but there's a lot of people that have testimonials out there. And I wish you would reach out to the TRS Live page, and once you see this show, if you're not watching it live, and let you know. Because there's a lot of people that come into the Real Shot, and they're absolutely like, there's no way. Extremely lightweight boot, there's no way that it's warm. And then they actually buy a pair, and they come back in, and they're doing the same thing that I did. They're referring it to a friend. They're buying it for family members and all that stuff. That's absolutely unbelievable. It's a great boot, and it's a great boot to just kind of at that $100 price range to break yourself into the Nordman brand. It's one of those ones where it's for us. I don't know why we're doing it on TRS Live here, because it's kind of a sleeper secret for us. This is probably the best-selling boot that you'll ever find. But it's like, luckily for us, we're one of the only places in Wisconsin that carry this brand. It's one of us. I mean, we try to, every year, we try to order absolutely as maximum amount as we can, because this is typically a boot that we sell out of. So it's one of those things that last year it was just a little hard to get these boots in on time, so that's why we have some available now. But if we have your size, this is one I want you to try. This at a $100 price range, you will not regret the fact that you bought this Classic Pro boot. This is awesome. And there's a lot of features to it. But I mean, it's for me, let the boot speak for itself. Get a pair of these. You will not be disappointed in it. So you can see the code, all the information on the screen right now. It's $100 is our sale price. Remember, that's only on therealshot.com. So take advantage of that. But it's available in men's sizes 7 through 12. The height of the boot is 15 inches. There's a lot of cool things about it, so check it out on therealshot.com. Get yourself a pair of these. Winter's unfortunately not that far away. And the cool thing about this boot is I wear mine starting in the early fall season, and then I'll wear it all the way through spring. It's one of those things that's so versatile with the right sock in there, in the right kind of conditioning. This is... Aaron just informed me of a sad thought. He said, winter is 149 days away, everybody. That's, wow. Thanks, Aaron, for bumming me out on a Monday even more. But it's awesome. And to me, the biggest feature that I absolutely love about these boots is the removable liner. This removable liner is key. You can put it on a boot dryer. It dries out really fast, but in between hunts, in between fishing trips, if you're jumping lake to lake or something like that, be safe about it, but put these up on the dash and the defroster. They will dry out. I kind of move mine around, and within 15 minutes, they're virtually dry, and I can put them back on and get back out to the woods or the water or the ice, whatever it may be. I wear mine for snow blowing. I wear mine all winter long. They're absolutely phenomenal. So you see it on the screen right now. It's the Akara Nordman Classic Pro boot. Get yourself a pair. It's $100 right now. Normal retail price is $129.99. You will love it. But we're continuing to talk about winter, which is, what'd you say, 124, 129 days away? Oh, 149 days away. So let's go to a commercial break, and then when we come back from commercial break, we're going to continue talking about winter boots. And this is one that maybe iHunter wants to check out. This is the Nordman Quattro with built-in spikes. So this is a lot like the boot we just got done talking about, but on steroids. These things have a little harder sole to it. They're rated a little bit better for extreme cold conditions. But coming up after these commercial breaks, the Akara Quattro built-in spike boots.
I'm Gary Atkins, professional angler in the National Professional Fishing League. Tune in to TRS Live for the best deals on all your outdoor gear and apparel. If you're going to want a shot at the big bass, you're going to need the Real Shot. Take it from me, professional angler Gary Atkins.
It's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are gonna join me, and the reason I asked these 2 guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Hello, and welcome back to TRS Live. Today we're talking about wintertime boots and footwear and everything like that. It's unfortunate, but we got to start planning that way, especially if you live in the Midwest. It's only 149 days away, according to Aaron. So if he bummed you out, you can email Aaron at... Just kidding, Aaron. But you should probably look him up on social media and tell him not to bum you out on a Monday. But we talked about the Akara is the classic pro boot, right? Then from Nordman. Now let's talk about the next boot here that you see on the desk in front of me. It's the Akara Nordman, but it's the Quattro with the built-in spike. So this is the boot that's very similar to the classic pro. It's just beefed up a little bit more. To me, this is more of... You can definitely wear it for ice fishing. You can still wear it for hunting. But to me, this is a great boot on the job site because there's a lot of safety features that could help you out on the job site. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is there's a different color. This is the black portion, and then it has more of the yellow, hardened, kind of rubber hardened sole to it. And then on the bottom of it, and Aaron, I'll go to this camera if that helps you. You can see there's spikes right on the bottom of it, right here. There's some spikes properly placed in all the right areas to help eliminate you sliding. Plus, while we have it in here, you can see, and maybe, Aaron, can you bring me that other boot? Or Andy, can one of you guys bring me that other boot and we can kind of compare the tread while we have them in here? I should have kept one in here. But this has a lot more deeper sole, a lot more deeper tread life to it. This is the better boot for grip, right? If you're looking to help you on the job site, thanks, buddy, I appreciate it. On the job site here, there we go. So this is the Classic Pro right here, but just look at the difference in the tread. As you see here, you can see the one here is the Quattro, and then obviously the green one here is the Classic Pro that we just talked about. The tread is the big time difference. Now, here's something that I learned from actually a hunter that hunts in Canada, and he kind of was talking about a hardened sole and a more softer sole for hunting purposes. And on those extreme cold days, you ever hear it where like your boot will squeak? Or as you step it, like it kind of squeaks in the snow. And he was referring to the fact that most hardened sole or harder sole boots are what are actually causing that. When the weather is absolutely so crazy cold, that the sole on these boots is probably the biggest reason you're making that squeaky sound. So as the hunter per se, that's why I like the Classic Pro. It's a little bit softer. It's more molded in here. It's still that one-piece EVA foam that we just got done talking about, but this is a softer sole for hunting purposes. Now, on the safety aspect or the ice fishing purposes, this has a rubber hardened sole to it, a lot deeper tread, and it also has the built-in spikes. Now the thing about it is these spikes are not removable. They're in there. So if this is something that you're wearing, at work, or if you're stopping in the reel shot to get a little bit of tackle or some bait or something like that, most stores are probably going to want you to take this off just because you might scratch up the floor material because they are on there. But this is one of the biggest difference here. You can see it's molded right into the foam of the boot. Still, it's that EVA compound, and actually this compound for this Quattro Pro is 30% more durable than regular EVA. So this boot here, again, we're kind of talking about referring it to a perfect work boot. This compound in this Quattro is even 30% more durable than the EVA in here. Now, there's also a big difference here. We talked about the Classic Pro weighing in at just under 3 pounds with the foam in it, with the layering system in it. Now, this boot's quite a bit heavier. This is 6 pounds. So, but again, it's one of those boots that's meant for the extremes, right? If I want extreme grippage and eliminate the chance that I'll be slipping out there, this is the perfect boot for you. It has a lot of the same features that we talked about with the Classic Pro, but just on steroids here. Still kind of that sleek design. Again, it's available in sizes 7 through 12 in the men's sizes. And on the bottom, we got that 0 with the 42 on it. So this is that circle with the 42. So theirs is a little different. So in a 41 in this style boot is a size 7. And again, it goes out to 46, which is a size 12. So it's one of those ones where if you want a little bit of room, and let's say because it's only in full sizes, if you are a size 11, maybe you want to try that size 12 just to see how it fits. And that will still give you a little bit of room if you absolutely need to beef up a sock inside this boot. So let's get into some more of the specifics on this boot. It does have the removable liner like we have here. And this removable liner to me is obviously a little bit more heavy than the last boot that we talked about as well. This boot here, they have it rated to negative 94 degrees Fahrenheit. So this thing is, like I said, it is definitely beefed up. It is here to keep your foot warm and to help eliminate the fact that you're slipping. So the other wear too, like we talked about, if you're on the job site, like this would be a perfect boot for the farmer out there. Something like that where, because it's that EVA foam, it's that up to that just below the knee style on it as well. If you are walking in a little bit of in the cow yard or something like that, those winter mornings, sometimes those cow doo-doos, they get a little slippery out there. That's the perfect portion for the spikes. Plus, you're going to get that protection. If you're cleaning out the barnyard, cleaning out some stalls out there, this is the perfect boot for the farmer in your life, or somebody that's working on a farm, or even on the job site, whatever it may be. Now, it's not a steel-toe boot, so if you have to have a steel-toe boot on the job site, this is not the boot for you. But it's one of those ones you're cleaning up after the day, whatever it may be. This is the perfect boot for you. Plus, you can still wear it on the ice. You could wear it in a tree stand. Most definitely you could. I would. This is a boot that I could be honest with you, I do not own yet. And that's just primarily because they sell out so fast and inventory's been hard to get my hands on. But if we have some 12s laying around this year, I'm definitely going to try out the Quattro. So we can continue to talk about some of the specs on here. We talked about the sizing, the metal traction, the EVA foam. It's a 2-layer. So, here, Aaron, let's bring up that graphic then. We'll talk about, here we go. So you can see what this liner is made out of right there. It's got some fleece in it. It's got some foam, some hollow threads. Again, it's still got that foil technology that we talked about on that Classic Pro. But there's a lot of different features to this. It even has the ability, there's a little different portion to slide it on. Oh, that's one thing I forgot to talk about with the Classic Pro as well, and we can talk about it now with the Quattro. For me, when I wear these Akara Nordman boots, for me, I put liner on first. So what I mean is because typically I'm pulling it off the boot dryer or I'm ready to go back out, I will put the liner on first. And then once I have the liner on, then I will slide my foot into the boot. I just find for me, it fits a lot better that way. It goes on a lot smoother. And if sometimes because of the way the liners are set up, you don't want that squishing motion here. So for me, that's why they have the ability here, or the other one too, open up a little bit wider. I always put the liner on and then slide my foot into the boot. To me, it just goes a lot faster and it fits a lot better that way. But again, we have a little more in reinforced heel here to keep that heel protected. It is also keep that foot locked into this boot. We talked about if you're wearing a cleat with it and you want to step out of it, it has that ridge right here so you can kind of step out of it. And then also that's a nice spot if you do elect to also wear a cleat with this boot, that you can put that cleat up top here. But again, this is an awesome boot. This is a Quattro. This is with the built-in spikes. This is one that's built up on steroids. And if you don't mind a little extra heavier boot, and it's compared to some of the other ones, I don't know where that 6 pounds range kind of fits in there. To me, I'm thinking that's kind of the average for some of these extremely warm boots out there. But with this EVA material here, again, we're going to not have as much stress in those weak spots. There's some other companies there when you're bending or kneeling, and if you're ice fishing, a lot of times you're kneeling down anyways or outside the hole or checking your tip ups. You know, this is always a weak spot in some of the other brands. The Akara boots, they really thought it through. Not as big of an issue there. Again, we have the built-in gator that if you see here too, and I'll try to show Aaron maybe this camera or whatever one above. I want to show you how high that liner actually goes inside that boot. Is it the up one? Which one do you want me on? Right here. There we go. So right here, you can see here's the start of the liner, or the end of the liner, I should say. There's not much difference. I mean, if that's about an inch to the top of that gator that's in there, that's about the only is. So I mean, you're covering not only the foot portion, but you're darn near all the way up to the calf of all that liner that's in there. And again, like we talked about with the Classic Pros, the fact that this liner is removable to me is what makes this boot so awesome, because I can pull this liner right out and I have to dry only this. You know, how many times have you brought your boot in and there's mud or there's snow or there's stuff caked on it? Now you set it on the boot dryer, and now all that's dripping on the floor in certain areas. To me, it's like just leave the boot out in the garage, or leave the boot, you know, in the back hall where it should be, and then go ahead and just take the liner portion out and dry just this portion out as well. Because this material in here, this actual liner here, this EVA foam composite, it does dry pretty fast. Now I have had it where I've made the mistake of leaving the boot out in my truck during a winter day, and the boot is extremely hard. You got to kind of bring it in and warm it up a little bit. But don't be me, right? Just take your boot inside, leave it in a warm area, but still not too super warm where you're going to melt all over the floor. Just pull your liner out, put it on your boot dryer, and you'll be ready to go for the next day or even that hunt. But again, it's the Quattro Pro. It's the beefed up over the Classic Pro. Still has a lot of the same features that the Classic Pro does. They just add a little better tread section to the bottom of it. We talked about the built-in spikes that are on the bottom of it, and it's heavier. It's twice as heavy as the last boot, weighing it at 6 pounds, which still is not that bad compared to some of the other boots out on the market, especially with the rating at negative 94 degrees Fahrenheit is what it's rated out to. But this is an awesome boot, and again, we haven't even hit on the price. Normally it's $160, which is still very, very affordable. We have it on sale here at TRS Live for $130. So let's say you bought one of each, right? $230. That's the price usually of some of those other brands that are on the market right now, and you're getting two then at that price for, you know, $100 for the Classic Pro and $130 for the Quattro with the spike. So that's a great price, especially because winter is closing in and you want to protect yourself from slipping and sliding all over the place, but you also want to keep your feet warm at the same time. This is another good boot that we can recommend here at The Real Shot. And again, it's one of our most popular sellers. Majority of the people still like that Classic Pro because it's extremely lightweight, but as we got more inventory of this boot in, this started creeping up on that Classic Pro as one of our top sellers as well. So it's Akara Nordman. You see all the information on your screen. Go ahead and check it out at therealshot.com. If you do have any further questions, don't hesitate to call the store, 920-750-6140. Say, hey, I saw Matt talking about this boot on the TRS Live. I do have a couple more questions, and the staff here at The Real Shot would be happy to answer some of those questions. Or send us a message on our Facebook pages. It's either The Real Shot on Facebook or TRS Live on Facebook, and we would be happy to answer those questions as well. So we talked a lot about this removable liner, and the cool thing about it is just take this liner right out and put it on a boot dryer. Well, it only makes sense here on TRS Live that's our next product that we're going to be talking about here, and that is a peaked boot dryer. So it goes perfectly with the Nordman boots that we've just got done talking about. So coming up next, a quick little segment on the Peat boot dryer, another one of those must-haves at home, and we're going to save you some money on the Peat boot dryer. So right after this commercial break, so we're going to continue about keeping your feet warm.
I'm Gary Atkins, professional angler in the National Professional Fishing League. I've been fishing professionally for 4 years. I spent 3 years as a pro in the Northern Opens, and now I've been fishing 1 year in the National Professional Fishing League. Tune in to TRS Live for the best deals on all your outdoor gear and apparel. If you're going to want a shot at the big bass, you're going to need the real shot.
There's the boom right there, Gary Atkins, your smallmouth specialist.
Take it from me, professional angler Gary Atkins.
It's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are going to join me, and the reason I asked these two guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Welcome back, everybody, to TRS Live. I'm just over here playing with this awesome Pete boot dryer, which is up next here. So a lot of today's show has been keeping your feet warm and dry, and we talked a lot about the Akara products here, the Nordman boots, whether it's the Classic Pros or the Quattros, which we just got done talking about. But now let's talk about how you keep those liners warm, or how you keep your boots warm and dry at home. And you need a Pete boot dryer, one of the most popular boot dryer names you can possibly find. Little fun fact for you, Gene Pete is the creator of the Pete boot dryer. He created the first boot dryer in 1968. So he started making them for friends and family and decided that he should make that into a company. Next thing you know, they moved out of the kitchen at their house and started working and making a lot of Pete boot dryers elsewhere, and now they have a awesome, great company. The nice thing too, made in the USA. So if you're one of those people out there that got to have products made right here in the US of A, Pete is one of those companies for you. So cool thing about it, runs off a battery, or I'm sorry, just plug it into the wall, works really, really nice. It is a silent boot dryer, which is really, really critical, because that means there's no loud fans constantly blowing heat and making loud noises. This is a nice one. It's very compact. Obviously, this is the box that it comes in right here. Normal retail price on this boot dryer is $44.99. We have it on sale right now only on TRS Live, therealshot.com for $35. So you got to add that to your arsenal. The cool thing too is it's got a 25-year warranty, so that's pretty awesome. If you do have any questions on that warranty, recommend you go to the Pete website and check out the warranty and all the coverage of that as well. Basically, plug it into the wall and it's ready to go. It uses so little power that you can leave this thing plugged in all winter long, and it's not going to really increase that energy bill at home. It's not going to increase that electric bill. Now, the way it works is it just pushes warm air silently through the top of the boot. There are adapters too if you wanted to put a glove portion on here. I could say with this added here, you could just put some gloves on there as well, so it's going to help that. But again, here, just have it in the house. Put your liner on there. It will also fit the majority of your boots and shoes out there. The other thing too is this time of year, if you have kids at home or you're going to the gym, your shoes will get wet from your foot sweating or stuff like that. So the boot dryer is going to be a perfect thing to help dry out your everyday shoes. They get wet playing outside, something like that. Just put them on this nice boot dryer here from Pete. and next thing you know, you have a dry foot. Now, what they recommend, depending on how wet the foot or the shoe or the boot got, they want you to leave it on overnight. Just that way it'll actually do its job, go through the whole entire boot, go through the whole entire shoe, and get the whole entire thing dry and ready to go. And the nice thing too about using a boot dryer compared to throwing your shoes in the dryer itself is you don't get that like crusty weird feel after you put your boots in or your shoes in the dryer. Plus, if you're in my house, I don't like that. Like, keep your shoes out of my dryer, keep your clothes in my dryer. We have a Pete boot dryer at home, and just put your shoes on there. My kids love to wash their shoes. I don't get it. Like, if they stink, that makes one thing. But if you're worried about a little dirt on your white Nikes, you know, they love to wash them. So they're constantly washing their shoes. And I'm like, don't put them in the dryer. Put them on the Pete boot dryer at home. That's what's going to help keep my dryer in good condition as well. So if you've got a bunch of kids at home and they're constantly washing their kicks, get a boot dryer, especially if you have $35. That's one of those things that's going to save a lot of wear and tear on your dryer at home. But, you know, again, we talked about it. If you are hunting or fishing or hiking or anything like that, come home, put these on your boot dryer, dry them out thoroughly, and then you are ready to go the next day. Plus this thing, it's just, if it constantly runs, it's not using a whole lot of energy. It's silently blowing that air through this piping system, and then it's just drying out your boot. The other thing too that's nice about that is if your boot or shoe stays wet for a while, there's a chance that it could kind of build up some weird funk to it. So the fact that the boot dryer is going to help dry it out thoroughly is going to help eliminate some of those stinky smells and, you know, some of that other funk that can happen to your boots or shoes. So this is one of those ones. We talk a lot about products here at TRS Live that are just, to me, no-brainers. Having a boot dryer at home is the perfect gift. And we also talk about, what do I get the sportsman or woman in my life that has everything, right? This is one of those things. You know, there's a lot of times where, you know, they have all the fishing and hunting equipment they need, but do they also think about the fact that they'll need a warm foot at the end of the day? And this is perfect. You bring it on home, whether it's the hunting camp or your house, put your boots on there, put your shoes on there, they're dried out, ready to go the next day. To me, it's one of those things, it's a no-brainer. You got to add a boot dryer to your arsenal at home. If you don't have one, take advantage of the sales price here on TRS Live. $35, that's a really good price for this, especially because Pete stands behind their products with that 25-year warranty. So it's one of those, to me, again, I'll say it again, it's energy efficient, it's a no-brainer. It does a phenomenal job, plus it's quiet. You don't even know it's there. So this is one, if you're getting those Akara boots, we're saving you money on the Nordmans. Go ahead and add the Pete boot dryer to your arsenal. You won't be disappointed that you did. I mean, what else do you really say? It's a boot dryer. It dries out your shoes. You can dry out your gloves. You can probably even put a hat or two on there, a stocking cap on there, and help dry that stuff out. They do make adapters here. This little sleeve portion pulls right off if it's conveniently back in the box for storage in the off season. To me, I just leave mine ready to roll all year long. If I'm not using it, it goes down in the basement, and then the kids can pull it out, put it upstairs if they need it for easy access, or just plug it right down in the basement. It's convenient. Put it up on a shelf, out of the way, and then that way you know it's ready to rock when you have a wet boot or shoe at home. Just need it to go ahead and get the day rolling. So Pete boot dryer here on TRS Live. Normal retail price $44.99. Take advantage of that $35 price range. It's one of those things that is a necessity for your foot at home. And again, it's just, if we're keeping your feet warm and dry with the Akaras, take that liner out, put it on your boot dryer, your Pete boot dryer, and you are good to go. So the last product that we're going to talk about here on TRS Live is one of those things that goes well again with some of your boots out there or your shoes out there. We're talking about a HT Sure Grip Cleats. We're going to refer to the size large here. That's going to fit most of your feet from size 8 to 11. So coming up after this last commercial break here on TRS Live, we're going to be talking about the HT Sure Grip Cleats.
I'm Gary Atkins, professional angler in the National Professional Fishing League. Tune in to TRS Live for the best deals on all your outdoor gear and apparel. You're going to want a shot at the big bass, you're going to need the reel shot. Take it from me, professional angler Gary Atkins.
It's Matt Trotz here with The Guided Life. We just met up with one of the guys from the crew, and he's like, they're on a hot track, so it's put her 4 high and get on these back roads and scream. Every year that I've been a part of that and I go to that class, I always learn something. So these guys are gonna join me, and the reason I asked these two guys in here is because we got Travis, who does a lot of public land hunting, and then Judd and I are private land, owners and hunters for the most part as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Welcome back, everybody. TRS Live here on a Monday morning, and boy, we've been here to protect your feet, keep them warm, dry, keep you from slipping, and all those other great things. Again, we talked about the Akara and Nordman boots in 2 different styles. It was the Classic Pro to begin the day, then we talked about the Quattro with the built-in spikes, then we went over to how you're going to dry out those liners of those Akara Nordman boots, and that's with the Pete boot dryer. And like iHunter says too in the chat here, he says that's the nice thing about that boot dryer is it keeps your boots from stanking. That's definitely one of those things that I like it for that reason. Now with the Quattros, we talked about the built-in spikes. Now the other thing too is if you wanted to if you don't have the built-in spikes like what you do with the Quattros, you need a set of the HT Sure Grip cleats here, and this is a size large. So that size large will fit a size 8 to 11 if you stretch them really well, and then that would be the same for the woman style boots as well and shoes. So the nice thing about having a cleat in this style, if it's not built right in, first and foremost, obviously it's removable. And at the price we have them for here, $6.50, it's one of those things where take advantage of that discount and have a pair of these for virtually any shoe or boot that you're going to be wearing outside in the wintertime. We talked about the Quattros with the kind of the built up reinforced area of that boot being great for working around the job site. Now, if this is something that you are required on your job site to wear a steel toe boot or shoe, this is where if you are making any kind of treks outside or on some slippery ground, having a spike, if it's okay to wear on those situations, is one of those things that you're definitely going to need. And my father-in-law, working on the farm at home, we've got him a bunch of different pairs of these because he can put them on all his boots that he wears. Say it's not extremely cold, right? And he's got the Classic Pros on. He has a pair of HT cleats on there. The other thing too is he has the Quattros, right? And he wants a little better traction. He has another pair of the HTs, and he doesn't have to continuously switch them on and off, right? You just leave it on that pair of boot. That's kind of what I do with my Classic Pros in the wintertime. When it's ice fishing season, I put them on my Classic Pros, and they stay on there just so I don't have to mess around in a hurry to put the spikes back on. The other thing too is, wear these in the wintertime for going to get the mail. Well, anytime you walk outside, say you're walking on the driveway, walking the dog, doing a little bit of housekeeping in the wintertime, having the reassurance of a good spike, a good cleat on the bottom of your foot is going to be super critical. It's going to build that confidence that you won't slip maybe as bad or slip at all. So again, some of the fun things about HT is it allows me to do a little bit of homework. HT has been a company since 1970s. Right now they have 4,000 items that are out there in the fishing, whether it's the ice fishing world or the open water world. So HT is one of those companies that realizes there's a lot of needs for some products like this, and this is just your standard cleat, and it's it's got a big toe portion on it, so it'll fit some of the biggest boots out there, as well as it still fits, you know, with that rubber material, or to the perfect shoe. Say you're hiking, you're doing a little bit of hiking, and you got your hiker boot on. This is one, I'm just glancing at Dylan's comment now. I can just see that. But it's if you're doing a little hiking on some of those trails that maybe it rained just like it did around the Fox Valley this weekend, have the reassurance of this grip. Now there is a molded rubber material around this grip, so not only do you have that portion of the grip underneath it, that hardened metal grip underneath it, but it is somewhat protected. So if you did have to walk on a floor for a brief moment to get something or whatever it may be, it is going to slightly protect that floor material, but after these get worn down a little bit, that spike is going to be shown, that cleat's going to be shown, and then you're just going to want to be smart about it and probably not walk on most surfaces where you run the risk of scratching them all up. But again, it's just one of those real simple products. It's one of those necessities for if you live in the Midwest or you live in an area that gets quite a bit of rain, snow, and or ice, all that kind of stuff. An HT cleat is the perfect thing for you. $7.99 is normal retail price, and that's a pair, right? You get one for each foot on there. $6.50. Take advantage of that deal. Talked about this is a size large, so it's going to fit 8 to 11. Technically, the back of the cardboard here says 8 to 10, but if you stretch it, it might fit around there. But you know, this is a good rubber material on here, so you shouldn't have to worry about it breaking or anything like that. And then the other thing that's really nice about it too is they have that large tab portion on here with that imprint for your thumb. You know, if you are using it around the Akara boots, you can pull it up and over that ledge that's on the back of that heel and help it hold in place a lot better. But this is just one of those things, everybody. You play outside in the wintertime, send it with your kids. You know, if you got some of your adult kids that have some of those bigger feet out there that can fit anywhere from an 8 to 10, this is something perfect for them. If they have to walk to the bus or walk on the sidewalks at school, keep it on your foot, get to go outside in the wintertime and play for recess. This is something that would work out great for them. Do I recess 8 years old? Oh, yeah, they might be in recess by that age. But again, you know, great for steep slopes, great for kind of hiking as well as wintertime wear. So Aaron, you ready with my flames? TRS real deal right here, everybody. It's smoking hot deal. There it is. It's like Dylan Williams. That's like a boot dryer right there. It's keeping the stank out of here. So it's the HT Sure Grip cleats in the large size. Normal retail price $7.99. Available right now at therealshot.com, only for $6.50 for a pair, and we're referring to the large. You see the order code at the top of that screen, punch that right in, and you will be able to go right to that product on therealshot.com. So hopefully everything we talked about today is some good leads for this upcoming winter. It's one of those things, yes, winter still is 149 days away, but with the availability of some stuff, it's probably one of those things you don't want to wait too long. It's the rubber, they will burn. Yeah, no, those flames were good. I made sure they were protected before we went on the show for that TRS Real Deal Flame Series. So, you know, hopefully we talked about some products that you're not familiar with. Again, that's our sleeper secret here at The Real Shot, those Nordman boots. Those are ones that once you get your hands on them, you're not going to be regretting the fact that you got them. The Pete boot dryer, the cleats here from HT are just necessities in most households out there, so take advantage of the deals that we have on therealshot.com. And again, thanks everybody for watching TRS Live. Thanks to iHunter and Dylan Williams for having all the great comments. There is a chat always available on all the platforms. That way I can see what you have to say. And we appreciate the testimonials. We appreciate the questions. And if it's one of those things that I don't answer your question here on TRS Live, don't hesitate. Call the store, 920-750-6140, or you can always send a message to our social media pages. That's The Real Shot, REELSHOT, on Facebook and Instagram, as well as YouTube. Or you can look up TRS Live on Facebook and Instagram and send a message or a question there. And then as well as the fixed TV platform. And this is one too. I mean, for $1.50 after you use your $5 credit on it, you have plenty of savings to purchase another pair. Or like Dylan Williams says here, he's going to get his hands on a pair, or his feet, I should say, in a pair of those Akara Nordman boots. So again, thanks everybody. I will be here again live on Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, because we go live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. So have a great rest of your Monday, and I'll see you Wednesday morning.